Hey guys, welcome for another video. You are watching.
Hey guys, welcome back for the part 2. In the part 1, we understood what is MCP and what are the problems it is trying to address as of now. And we did give some time to understand the architecture and understood what is the client side and what is the protocol handler and MCP server and what are the external systems. So apart from that, we have a main component that works on the application layer of the MCP server. Those are tools, resources, prompts, and sampling. So what are tools? Tools are something that talks about what to do, right? Which talks about actions where the server exposes the function the model can call to actually do stuff, right? For an example, uh, here let me show one of my MCP server. I have MCP server to an scan, subfinder, analyze the certificates, git leaks, so many tools, right? So here the MCP server provides a tools for the client to call to perform any action. For an example, here I called a tool, by giving a prompt, fetch me all the subdomains of amazon.com. So LLM parsed this particular user query and it understood I should call the subfinder tool to get the subdomains of amsterdam.com, and it is able to call it and able to get the results, right? So these are tools. Going forward, we will deep dive into each tools and other segments, but this video I'll keep it very basic, just to understand what is the meaning of them. Resources is something that talks about what to read. These are just a pieces of data the server exposes for a context. For an example, it can be files, documents, schemas, logs, each with a URI. Now they have, the client decides how to show these for an end user or how you can search them. It can be something. It can be something that will be utilized or attached as part of the conversation that you make with the server, and the model reads them as a context uh, for the information it needs. The uh, the resources, URI can be something like file colon slash slash your documents or something like that, right? So these are the resources. And prompts, these prompts and samplings are something which are consumed at the server side, which is essential. And these are generally seen when your MCP server has a capability to run the LLM on the server side, right? So prompts are something that talks about what to say. Imagine the server hands you a ready-made starter template, something like at a client side you have a slash commands where you can select something like slash review code, and you select the code path, just something like that. Now, as of now, I don't have any prompts developed, but if you want me to show on a code level how does it looks, in the sense prompts. Okay, yeah, I do not have any prompts configured, but it will be configured at in the capability section, and it will be parsed for the client during initialization. We will talk what is initialization in the later videos. These will be utilized to make users task easier, where you can just select the slash whatever the prompt it has given. The server will understand and it will parse the prompt on its own, and it will make the action what user is requested. Now other one is sampling. Sampling is something like how the model is called, right? So sampling is when the client actually runs the model on your messages, but the server can request sampling. Something like you runs one tool, but server as a Gemini running, which gives you an option or multiple suggestions like how you want to do it. For an example, let's say you have a MCP server which has a capability to create a user, right? And I mean, like, you have a tool which has a capability to create a new user. As part of that, you will trigger a create user tool. Now the server gets a request. The server wants some information to create that particular user. Right now, the at the server end there will be LLM running. It can be anything, Gemini, ChatGPT, uh, that depends upon the developer who developed. Now that particular LLM is capable enough to generate the context and send back to the user something like, you want to generate some random user or random address, random ID, or you have any specific thoughts in your mind to select the username, first name, last name, something like that, right? So these are the sampling content that will be parsed from the server for the client, right? So this is about the tools, resource, prompts, and sampling, which are one of the main four pillars of the MCP server. Upcoming videos when we discuss about secure design review. Coming to next section, how MCP actually works. I'll just give a brief information. We have a three layers. One is application layer, one is protocol layer, one is transport layer. Application layer, we all have these four important things where we interact with the MCP server with these four pillars. And as a middle layer, we have a protocol layer where all our data exchanges between the client and the server, where it follows the JSON RPC 2.0 format. And transport layer, we have a HTTIO and HTTP. It depends upon how and where we deploying our MCP. If you wanna utilize in your local environment, HTTIO is one of the suggested way. HTTP is when you wanna configure your MCP as a remote, which we wanna see that in the next section in detail. And there is a defined flow on how this MCP will connect to the server. Initially there will be a initialization handshake where the negotiation happens between the client and the server. And later, when the initialization happens, while during initialization, as I showed, there will be a lot of information exchanged from the client to server and server to client, both side. And once it's done, there will be a capability discovery where client will try to read the server capabilities and the resources that it can parse. And once the client has that, it will be have a capability to execute the tools, which we already saw in one of the examples, right? So the other scenario is how MCP is getting utilized in a real world and who is using. uh, so many people are using, and everyone are using almost, the common way to implement or deploy the MCP. Or if you are if you're familiar with VS Code, you can integrate via VS Code. If you're familiar with the Windsurf, you can integrate via Windsurf or Cursor. Or you can even integrate with the ChatGPT, a web connector. It all depends upon the how the developer or a company provisions the MCP for the end users, right? The use cases are many. You can do uh, unlimited thing, anything that is existing you can trigger from the MCP. The security challenges with the MCP depends upon the each business vector or industry, I can tell. The common deployment patterns are local deployment, which is more secure. Enterprise internal purpose, something like you have an MCP server to get every details about the company, like who is the manager of whom, and what are the latest deployments, and who is doing what projects, something like that, right? And cloud SaaS is exposing to the end user, something like Docker MCP, GitHub MCP, those kind. And yeah, these are the just basic information about the MCP and its architecture. So far we learned about how the MCP is solving the N into M possibilities of agentic AI method, and we understood the T-tier architecture about MCP and the pillars of MCP and each components and how the MCPs are deployed, right? In the next section, we'll look into how the communication is flowing, and we try to understand more information about HTTPIO and HTTP and related aspects. See you guys in the next video. Bye bye. We will be seeing this oftenly in our